Good morning, everybody. Welcome, welcome. So nice to see you all jumping on here. People are jumping on left and right, so that's good. Welcome to Greater Life, Greater Impact. I'm excited to see you all here bright and early. We're here every Tuesday. Those of you who are new, I hope you come back and I hope you bring friends. We have these classes every single Tuesday. If you're watching the replay on YouTube, feel free to click on the description of the video down below where this will be posted and get yourself registered so that you'll get the reminders and the invites every single week. Today, we're going to do some of our own inner work. And I'm going to jump right into this. Good morning. Good morning. Thank you, everybody, for being on here. Thank you for your hellos. Thank you for your morning greeting. It's nice to see you. I want to just jump right into this topic of doing our own inner work. We're going to talk a little bit about why it's important to do your inner work, but I want to hear from you. I would love to pose this question. Why do you feel it's important to do your inner work? And if you don't know what that means, stick with us. You'll figure it out in a big hurry. For those of you who have not met me yet, my name is Janet Thurgood. I'm a quantum healing practitioner and a soul self-restoration coach. And what I do is I work with people one-on-one. I help guide you to a place, to the uncharted waters of who you really are, for healing, for transformation, and for spiritual awakening. And that's what we do to a large degree in these classes as well. This is Sovereignty Series, episode number 20. Holy cow, I can't believe we're already on number 20. But this year, for the year 2023, we're talking all about spiritual sovereignty. And you'll notice that there is a theme to what we're talking about. Today, we're just going to get after doing some of our own inner work, cleaning up some of the stuff inside of us that's causing us to be stuck in life. So with that being said, I'm going to pose the question to you guys one more time. Why do you think it's important to do your inner work, your spiritual inner work, to get after what's going on inside of here, to cleanse it, to heal it, to release it, to resolve it? Why is that important to you? Cheryl says, my inner work has allowed me to get unstuck and continue to progress. I'm unwinding bad belief systems. Awesome. That's awesome. Who wouldn't want that? I think that to do your inner work is probably the most important work that you will ever do on any journey that you set foot on, whether it's a mortal journey or a spiritual journey. Anybody else have any thoughts or ideas in regards to why it's important to do your inner work? Why is it important to you? Linnea says, because I know it helps my ancestors and descendants as well. That's interesting. So it's helping you and it's helping your family line in both directions, forward and backward, which technically there is no forward and backward because time is one great whole. And it all starts with you in the center. Edith says, it helped me to know who I am a little more. Bingo. I love that. Ellie says, inner work to address the unseen obstacles and patterns. Yes, because we know that those unseen obstacles and patterns of programming from this world and society and to culture and groups and family, that programming comes with biological consequences that can either make you sick or stuck. Okay, Karen says, I was thinking the same as Cheryl, to get unstuck. Yeah, because we're on a trajectory, we're on a path, we're looking to ascend and evolve and grow and have momentum in a forward direction that is good for us, that's elevating. Lisa says, it seems that perhaps we won't be our authentic self if we don't get rid of our programming. Yeah, to a large degree, we have to unlearn. We have to be unprogrammed by the narratives of men. We have to be unprogrammed by the narratives of men so that we can then be guided by the internal authenticity of our soul, who is one with God. Katie says, doing inner work has allowed me to deprogram from false belief patterns to discover my true identity in Christ, allow for spiritual growth, and allow me to love myself in order to help others and spread light and love for kingdom work. Whoa, that's a lot. that's serious evolution, Katie. What you're talking about is the soul's evolutionary path. We started out, many of us believe we started out in the presence of God as created beings of a creator of all that is. We started out there. Now we're kind of separate from God. We've been separated from the presence of God. And our aim is to return to the presence of God as one, as an ascended being. We can't do that work until we've done our inner work. So some of the things that I came up with, ideas that I came up with in regards to why is it so important that we do our inner work? And why do we spend so much time talking about this? Toby Lynn, did you have something?
It's interesting. I was supposed to help a friend this week, and one of the things that's come to my awareness, there's deep programming, like deep subconscious programming that we don't even realize. And one of the things that I came up with is I realized that when I was in grade 3, a teacher put a dunce cap on my head and stood me in the garbage can in the corner and said to my peers, "You don't want to be like her." I can tell that this still got a hold of me because it brings up some pain when I say it. I never was triggered like this before, but that's okay. And so it causes me to shun and shut down when I'm asked to show my light. And I never realized that until last night after prayer and going, what is this that stops me from sharing? And so it's very interesting how deep programming, and as I've learned to go deep inside myself, I have had more confidence, more self-awareness. I have understood God's love towards me more than I ever had before. I understand what forgiveness means, what unconditional love means, what service means, what sacrifice means. Like, I learned so much more about God and how he loves me unconditionally and helps me to refine myself as I stand in my covenant space and be true to who I am. And so, yeah, it was very interesting as it came up last night, some of this programming that has been triggered. So it's all good. Everything's good.
That is amazing. Thank you for sharing that. It's hard to share the vulnerabilities that come up in us when life triggers you and pushes your buttons and says, hey, guess what? You put something here long, long ago that programming or conditioning or the interpretation of your experience. I mean, who wouldn't interpret their experience in that way if you're being treated that way, or if mankind is putting onto you a narrative that is totally false and out of alignment with who you are as a divine, glorious being.
Well, it was so long ago. Like it was so long ago that it happened. I mean, grade 3, I was maybe 8. And so it was, it's interesting how our inner work comes up.
Yeah, it is. Thank you for sharing that. All right. I have a couple of other thoughts. I think that as we learn to do our inner work, and we begin that process of evolution and growth and ascension, by cleaning up a lot of the programming that you guys have all talked about here this morning today, we learn that we can suffer a lot less by shedding those false beliefs or those limiting beliefs or the stored emotions around those beliefs. By learning how to resolve that stuff and clean it up and let go to a large degree of stuff that has nothing to do with who we are. Like, I think of your situation, Toby Lynn, where the teacher put you in that scenario where you were intensely humiliated and shamed and embarrassed, but that had nothing to do with who you really are. She wasn't seeing who you really were. And so the onus is on us as we go through trauma and drama like that. The onus is on us to learn to let go of how we've interpreted that situation. Like, I'm bad. There's something wrong with me. I'm not enough. I'm not worthy. I'm not lovable. I'm not precious. I'm not special. I'm not smart. Whatever the interpretation of that experience is, the onus is on us at some point in our journey as we begin to wake up to who we are more, to realize that it's okay to let that go. And when we do let it go, it ends the suffering. And then it propels us forward into our ascension, our evolution as godly beings, because that is ultimately who we are. It's not necessarily what we're trying to achieve. We are that. We are divine, godly, godlike beings underneath this crust, underneath the programming, underneath the trauma, and underneath the drama and the unresolved mess that has been made as we came here. But there's learning in that. There's learning in it for us. So my 3 things were, why do we do our inner work? Number 1, so we can train ourselves and learn how to suffer less. Number 2, so we can walk the ascended path and learn to overcome all things as all gods do. You have to learn to overcome the lower level emotions. And then number 3, to step into the presence of God on that ascended path as we learn to evolve. So this is why it's important. Could there be a more important thing for you to be doing today? Probably not. Probably not. Not even more important than your job, I would submit. Okay, so if we are going to walk the ascended path and evolve into becoming the godly beings that we know we are at our root core, that authentic being, then I came up with 6 principles as I was pondering on this morning and just kind of listening to my inner voice and some inner, just going into the stillness within me as I was pondering on what should we talk about today? How should this look as we play this out? I came up with 6 things that I feel like are principles that really can help us on our journey of doing our own inner work. The first principle that I came up with, I feel like in order for us to do this sacred work, I feel that it is a must. And some people don't believe this, and that's fine if you don't. You don't have to buy into my beliefs. You don't have to believe a word of what I say, but at least take it to your source, take it into your soul and check in to find what truth is for you at this point in your journey. So what truth is for me at this point in my journey, this is personal, is I felt that it's requisite that I come to the knowing that there is a God over this universe, a creator of all that is. And that God is not there to lord over us and to manipulate and control us. He's not a puppet master. He's not there to force and manipulate or control anything in our life. God is a God who honors agency and free will. And he is a God of perfect, pure, non-limited, unconditional love. That's who we are at our core. And so it is through divine free will. It's through that, the exercise of divine free will, our own free will, that we find our way back into that non-limited, unconditional love. And that's through our relationship and companionship to the creator of all that is and other godly beings who want to minister to us and guide us on that path. So that's number 1 for me. Recognize that there is a creator of all that is, and that creator is nothing but non-limited, unconditional love. And we can tap into that. We can have a relationship with it, and we should. Principle number 2, I felt was really important for me on my path. You guys can decide what it looks like for you, but principle number 2 was give up control. Surrender control to the universe that is a loving entity. I do believe that the universe is intelligent. It's a loving entity. It is a part of God. And so when we learn how to surrender control to it, rather than using brute force to manipulate our way through life, to make life be what we think it's supposed to be, when you give up and surrender all, it means you step into the possibility of, I wonder what's going to happen for me today. I wonder what's going to happen through me today. I wonder what miracles are on their way. I wonder what's possible for me. That's what happens when you step into surrender and perfect and pure and total absolute trust. You stop trying to manipulate and control. Now you have control. The minute you surrender control, you now have it. But that's the hardest part, I think, for most humans, is that we think that we have to be in control of all people and all things and all events that take place in our lives. And we don't. It's in the surrendering of control that suffering ends. When you surrender the need to control. Principle number 3, I thought this was really good. In fact, I feel like the more that you learn to surrender control and learn to trust that the universe has got your back and that God's got your back and that the highest will play out for you if you just allow your life to come to you rather than you brute forcing your way through it and making everything happen. You just learned the secret to the universe if you can surrender. But most people struggle with surrender because they think they need to be in control, but you really aren't. Number 3, this is something that we talk about in a lot of our classes, these free classes that we do every Tuesday, is step into the oneness. What does that mean? Get centered, be grounded, be rooted, be connected to who you are as a divine, godly, godlike being. Because when you do that, now you're connected to God at the same time. Now you're connected to divine, infinite potential that can navigate you through your life way better than your brain ever could. Your brain is not who you are. Your brain is an organ. It's a computing, analyzing, comparing device that is used to compare and analyze data. And if you're not careful and you think that your brain is who you are, that is the sum total of who you are, is your memories and your thoughts and your beliefs and your ability to brute force your way through life. If you think that that's who you are, you're going to start analyzing and comparing you. And when you analyze and compare the hell out of yourself, you lose yourself. You lose connection with yourself. So step into the oneness. That's what we're going to do today when we do our inner work. I'm really excited to give you that opportunity. Again, today, it'll be similar to what we've always done and the way we always do it. I'll take you through a guided experience, but we all have things that we can clear and heal in ourselves. So we're going to do some inner work today. And I hope you come back to this video often so that you can do more and more and more and more. Worriers. I want to talk a little bit about worriers, because people who worry a lot are people who need to be in charge, or they need to be in control, or they think they don't have control. And so then they have to stress and fret over all the minute details of what could possibly happen. What could possibly go wrong? I have to analyze that, and I have to worry about it, and I have to think about it so that I can avoid suffering. And it doesn't work that way. The only way to avoid suffering is to surrender control and something else, which is clinging. That's the next principle I'm going to bring up, which is number 4. So number 4 is let go of clinging to things that you cling to, things that you think you're attached to, whether that's a relationship, a possession, a job, an idea, an ideology, a fixed mental belief system. Even, we're seeing this a lot in religion right now. Tons of people are leaving religion by the droves because they're starting to discover spiritual autonomy and freedom. They don't want to be manipulated and coerced and controlled and mind controlled and gaslighted. They don't want that anymore. They don't want other authority figures telling them what to think and what to do and how to behave and how to be and who to be and what to be. People are starting to discover that personal spiritual autonomy is vital for our progression as human beings, but it's also vital to humanity in general and us individually. So it's one of the reasons why institutions that lord over people and say, I am the authority figure, and if your personal guidance system doesn't match what I'm telling you to do, then you're wrong. And that's what's happening in the world, is people are starting to break away from that mentality, and they're starting to say, no, I think God is my inner GPS. I think I have my own inner GPS system. It's my heart. It's my soul. It's my spirit. It's my relationship with God. That's what guides me. That's what teaches me, not any other human. So once you learn to let go of clinging, you learn to let go of attachments, now you've also stepped outside of the bounds of suffering. You won't suffer anymore when you learn to let go of attaching yourself to people, things, ideologies, fixed mental positions. Ram Dass, I was listening to a podcast of his just this morning, actually, and he says, only in that freedom, meaning when you let go of clinging to things, you let go of having attachment to things that is unhealthy, he says, only in that freedom lies the cessation of suffering. So it doesn't mean that you become indifferent to people. It doesn't mean that you let go of responsibility. It doesn't mean that you're letting go of love, that you stop loving people. It just means that there's no unhealthy neediness or clinginess to the people and the things and the situations in your life. When you can literally lay all things on the altar and give it back to God, you're in a place of liberation and freedom, because nothing can threaten you at that point once you've surrendered it all. I don't need this. I don't need that. I don't need them in order for me to feel whole and complete and sovereign. But that doesn't mean you don't love them and you don't engage or interact. It just means that there is no neediness. Okay, that's number 4. I feel like there's something else I was supposed to say about that. Letting go of clinging. It's really, this is the process of spiritual evolution. This is the process of evolving as a spirit being into godhood, is learning to let go of the things that you never ever thought you could let go of because it was too hard or too scary. Or we're conditioned in our society, in religious culture, and in societal norms, the way that we're programmed to see relationships, especially parent-child or spousal relationships or family relationships. We are conditioned to be very clingy and very needy and very codependent to those relationships. And I don't know that that is healthy. I don't believe that it is. You can still love people without clinging to them for dear life, or being completely and totally wrecked and destroyed if they die, or if that relationship ends, or if something happens and they're no longer in your life. You can tell whether or not there's codependency or clinginess there based on what your reaction would be. Number 5 is, back to number 4. There was one more thing I wanted to share with you. When you learn to let go of clinginess to others, it allows you to pursue in a more meaningful way who you are. Think about that, because you don't need other people to gift you completeness or wholeness. And when you let go of clinging to others, now you can pursue your true path without being held back and without holding other people back on their path. And that's not selfish. It's vital. Nobody has the right to prevent you from progressing on your soul's path or your soul's truest journey. No one has that right. I don't care who they are, whether they're your parent or your spouse, your lover, your significant other. Nobody has that right to say, you can't be that, or you can't do that because that makes me uncomfortable. Nobody has the right to project that onto you. And you also, in turn, need to be sovereign enough and self-aware enough to say, I'm sorry, that doesn't work for me. Okay, now we're on to number 5. So principle number 5 is know God. We already kind of talked about this. This was number 1, was recognize that there is a God. But number 5 is takes it a little bit deeper. So even more than recognizing that there is a God, coming to know God in a personal and intimate way is very different than just learning about God. When you're in a relationship with somebody, can you really have a relationship with them if all you ever do is read about them? You can't, right? If you want to become intimate with somebody and you want that yoking and that bonding, you really want to open your heart to them and them open their heart to you, and you connect in a meaningful way to that person, whoever they are. You can't do that just by reading about them or talking to them. There has to be intimate exchange on a deeply loving and personal level. You have to be willing to let God in, and you be willing to go within, to meet God there, deep in the recesses of your soul. So in order for that to happen, we have to seek, we have to ask, we have to knock. Hold on, got to let somebody in just a second. There we go. We have to seek, we have to ask, we have to knock, because godly beings will never, ever, ever, ever put upon you an agenda. They're never going to come to you and say, hey, this is what I need you to learn, and here's how it works. It doesn't work that way. Every time I have ever had a conversation with Christ, who is my mentor, when he comes to me, I usually, in the beginning, I used to say, oh, wow, what are you here to teach me? He would show up in dreams or visions or just an experience where I'm in my center and I feel and sense his presence. And I'll say, what are you here to teach me? And he'll say every time, what do you want to know? I didn't come here with a clipboard and bullet points for you to check off. What do you want to know? And so I have learned in my relationship with the divine to come up with very good questions so that when the divine does step into my presence and I'm aware of that, I'm in a place where I can invite that in, because they're never going to push their way in. That's not how they roll. God is a God of free will. And so he's going to wait for you to invite. He's going to wait for you to ask the questions. When you ask and seek and knock, then they're all over that. They'll be all over you, giving you whatever you ask for, which is truth, which is love, which is perspective. That's what we want so we can grow. So that's step 5, know God personally, deeply, intimately, ask good questions, because when God shows up in your life, he's not going to put anything upon you. He's not going to distill it upon you either. Number 6, do your inner work. Do your inner work. This is, I believe, these 6 principles is kind of a gateway to your spiritual ascension. Here we are, I believe that before coming to earth, we stood in the presence of God. Now we're away from God in a mortal dimension where we get to learn, where we get to experience, where we get to exercise free will and learn autonomy, where we get to learn to stand the hell up on our own 2 feet as sovereign, autonomous, spiritual entities in and of ourselves, and not necessarily be told what to think or what to do or what is true, but to seek it and find it for ourselves. That's the path you're on. And when you learn that path and you develop yourself in it and you keep going in that evolutionary path, you will ascend to godhood, because that's where we're going. All healing. So when let's talk about doing our inner work then. I do feel, in fact, I went to bed last night kind of thinking about, just pondering on, what should we talk about today? What should we do today? And that was in the back of my mind. I didn't have any agendas for today, but as I was thinking about it, I was awakened at about 3 o'clock this morning with some words that flooded into my mind. And the words were, the healing process is about letting go of something. It's about resolving something in here, in you, that hasn't been resolved. Either a belief, a thought, an emotion, a feeling that goes with the emotion. It's about letting go of that stuff, but also bringing resolution to that stuff so you can return yourself home to love, because that's who you are. So this is the art of healing. It's a returning home to love. And we can boil all those things, the fixed mental positions, the beliefs, the attitudes, the emotions, the feelings, all that stuff that's in us that needs to be healed and resolved. We can boil that down to one thing. And that one thing is a vibration. It's all about vibration. That's what was told to me this morning at 3 o'clock in the morning. This can all be boiled down to a vibration. You can find where those vibrations live in your body, but you can't do it if you're not self-aware. So I want everybody to just take a minute to just breathe. Slow your breath way down, and I want you to become aware of your physical body. Sometimes when I work with people one-on-one in our mentoring sessions, I'll say to you, after we've been triggered, what do you feel about that in your body? Where do you feel that? What do you feel and where do you feel it? And sometimes people will say to me, I don't know, I don't feel anything. I don't know. Okay, here's a question. If someone came up to you and stood in front of your face and smacked you across the face, and I said, what do you feel and where do you feel that? And you said, I don't know. That would be pretty dang not self-aware. You do, to some degree, you have self-awareness. It's just a matter of how much of it am I feeling right now? How aware of my physical body am I in this moment right now? So everyone just get still and breathe. And I want you to just tune into your body. Listen to your body. We need to have body awareness if we're going to do our inner work, because this inner gunk is stored in the cells and the tissues of your flesh. It's stored in there. Those vibrations are locked in there and they're stuck in there. And they're looking for you to find them. So breathe in, breathe out. Be still. I want you to take your awareness and your attention and go into the center of your soul. If you had an imaginary line that went from the top of your head down through your body, through behind your face, through your throat, through your heart, to the base of the spine. Just imagine this as a beam of light going right through you, directly through the center of you. And it goes down and out the perineum at the base of the spine, and then also goes down through your hips, through the legs, and out the centers of your feet. The centers, it also comes out through the centers of your palms as well. That's your midline. So I want you to put your thought inside the center of your midline. The midline, your center, is like the center of a tornado or a spinning, spiraling vortex. So think about what's in the center. It's stillness. So get out of the vortex part, the spinning, chaotic part, and go into center. And just put your awareness in your body, at least to the level of your heart or lower. Breathe into that stillness and notice what muscles are calling your attention. Notice where there's tension that's calling your attention. Where are you storing tension? Is it in your eyeballs, in your face, in your tongue, your shoulders, your back, your gut? You notice. One way to step into the oneness is to get into the present moment now. And I've told you this before. Take your thumb as you're sitting, your hands in your lap. Just take your thumb and if you were to move it from out here into here, it would take you all day to do it. That's how slow I want you to move. Don't tense up that muscle though. Just become aware of the movement and how slow that movement of your thumb is. Rest it in your lap. Become very, very aware of the slowness of that movement. And notice how body aware you are of that region of your body. Breathe in, breathe out. Just kind of let go of that for a moment. And I want you to become aware of the rest of your body. Just relax, going into the stillness, going into center. Now, I want you to think about one thing in your life right now. Something that you either want that you don't have, or something in your life that is making you feel stuck. What's causing you to feel stuck or like you're in a sense of lack? Here's where I am. Here's where I want to be, but I can't have that over there because I'm not worthy or there's something wrong. What's going on in your life that you want, that you feel you can't have? What is that? Or what's going on in your life where you feel stuck on your path towards it? And it's preventing you from pure love, pure bliss, pure joy. Write it down. Take a minute. I'm going to write mine down. But take a few minutes to write that down. Think about it. Where are you stuck? Okay, now let's just become body aware for a moment. Actually, before we do that, let's become self-aware for a moment. What is the feeling inside of you about that? What feelings are being drummed up about that? If you feel bold enough and brave enough, type them into the chat. I'm going to type mine. So Karen says, stuck in property mindset. Interesting. Ownership mindset, maybe. So where I'm feeling stuck, where I'm feeling the lack is this yearning for something that I haven't realized yet in the physical domain. So yearning is not a good vibration to be in. It's not a healing or a healthy vibration to be in, and it will keep us separated from what we want. So feeling stuck in a mindset is the same thing. It'll keep you stuck. Yeah. Property. Anybody else? So how does that make you feel, that stuckness or that lackness or that whatever is bothering you or making you feel stuck? What is the feeling? What is the emotion? Now, the next thing that I'm going to ask you guys to give me, Lisa says, I think I get in my own way. Good. Wow. That was what I was going to ask you guys is what is the belief? So Karen says lackness. That's the feeling. I am in a state of lack. The next thing that I want you to do, once you've identified that feeling or that emotion, Toby Lynn says shame, humiliation, raw vulnerability. Yes. What is the belief behind all of that? Why is it important to you? Well, that's going to be my next question. Let's find the belief first. What's the belief under the shame, the humiliation, the unworthiness, the raw vulnerability, the lackness? The yearning. What is the belief? Marginalization, says Cheryl. What is the belief? Ashley says, I feel like I let my dyslexia stop me in so many things. There's your belief. Boom. How does that make you feel, Ashley? So now you've got the belief and the emotion together. How does that make you feel? Karen says, not smart enough. As you see, I can't spell words. I can't either. That's okay. I don't care. Language is fallen. Toby Lynn says, it makes me feel something is wrong with me. Okay, there's the belief. The belief is something's wrong with me. Now, I want you guys to look at your emotion, the feeling, and I want you to look at the belief now. And I want you to see, well, not see, but just look at it from an external point of view and say, is this true? Is it true that there's something wrong with me? Is it true that I'm dyslexic? Is it true that I can't spell, or is that just a belief? So when people used to come to me for mentoring, for like wellness mentoring, and they would say, oh, but I've got all of these allergies and I can't do this, this, and this because I have these allergies. And I would say to them, or you don't. The fact that you say you have allergies, that's a belief. And your body just so happens to be buying into that belief, and it's giving you good biological data, biological consequences. Okay, so those are just beliefs. They may not even be true. That might not be in alignment with who you really are as an eternal being. So as an eternal being, a divine, non-limited, unconditionally loving, infinite being, are you dyslexic? Are you not enough? Is there something wrong? Are you not smart enough, pretty enough, funny enough, intelligent enough? Ask those questions. Is this true? And write down beside the beliefs that are coming up, is this true? Yes or no? If it's not true, who is putting that belief onto you? I guarantee you it's not God, and it's definitely not your higher self. So it can only be one being. And that is the adversary. Those who walk in the darkness, who seek to manipulate and control you. That's where those are coming from. That's where those beliefs are coming from. So if you know that that's where that's coming from, you can pretty easily choose to release that and let that go. Right? Because it's not true and it's not you. Ellie says, I don't see any typos in what you wrote today. You wrote property correctly the first time. Okay, good. So no one's seeing that in you, Karen. You can choose to not see that in yourself. You can choose to let that go. Okay, so now I want you to look at the beliefs, and I want you to think about, what would I rather have instead? What would I rather have instead? What am I looking for instead of this? Instead of these emotions and this belief that's been put upon me or conditioned to me, what would I rather have instead? Write that down and be very, very clear about it. Get very clear. Okay. I think I get in my own way. So Lisa, that was yours. What would you rather say about yourself? What would you rather have be true about yourself? Would it be, I'm very intentional and I know where I'm going and I know how to get there and I'm doing it. I'm on my path. I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. Yearning. So rather than me feeling this yearning, I think the belief for me is, I can't have what I want. I can never have what I want. I always have to settle for this over here. So the belief for me is going to be like what I want the truth to be is I gratefully receive everything that I want. So write down, you need to write this down because we're going to take this even deeper and farther. The unworthiness, what would you rather have? Would you rather feel that you have great value and see that value and have other people see that value? That was Bambi. Okay. What is it that you'd rather have? So for me, it was, I can create anything I desire, and I gratefully receive it into my life. I'm always creating the things that I love the most. I'm always choosing the things that I love the most. So now, beside that new belief of what do you want it to look like rather than what it actually is, beside the new belief, I want you to write down, why is that? I want you to answer the question, why is that important to you? Why is that important to you to be able to create what you want or have what you want or be seen and heard and not marginalized? Why is that important to you? Ashley says, a better understanding of the things around me. So that's what you want. Why is that important to you, Ashley? To have a better understanding, to be more in tune, to be more intelligent. Why is that important? We need to get to the root of that. That's where we're going. So could you type in underneath that? Why is that important to you? And then we're going to keep going. Only if you want to share. But if you're willing to share, it would be great because people can learn from this. So for me, mine was because I want to create the things that I love. I want to bring into my life the things I love so I can be in love with everything in my life. Karen says, so that I can progress. And why is that important to you, Karen? Why is it important to you to progress? Why is that important? And Ashley, why is it important for you to understand things around you better? Why? And for me, why is it important for me to receive the things that I love the most? And my answer to that is because I am love and I want to be a more congruent expression of the love that I am. Because I know that that is integrally, I guess, authentically who I really am. Lisa says, I want to be whole and I want to be authentic. Bambi says, because those false beliefs aren't true. Okay, and why is that important to you? That you know the truth. Why is it important that you know the truth, Bambi? Karen says, I don't want to leave this life with my song not sung. Why is that important to you? Is it because you want to be heard? Is it because you want to be fully expressed? What is it? What's underneath that? And keep going. So when you get that one written down, I don't want to leave this life with my song not sung. Why is that important? Write the next thing and then look at the next thing and go, well, why is that important to me? And I want you to get down to as deep down as it possibly will go. And usually it will end in because I want to be me. I want to be me. Karen says, because I don't want fail. I don't want to fail my mission in this life. And why is that important that you not have failure? Failure is an integral part of our learning. Failure can be a good thing because it's teaching you something. You can't fail on your life's path. You can't. You're always right where you're supposed to be doing exactly what you're supposed to be doing. So can you go underneath that belief of, I don't want to fail in my mission? What is it that you really want? Is it really success? Or is it to be you? To be seen and heard and acknowledged as you. To be the love that you're looking for in the form of approval and good job and appreciation and love. All of this, you guys, boils down to self-love. If you're looking for your soulmate and you've not found your soulmate yet, and you don't know if you're ever going to have a soulmate, and you're never going to really know what it feels like to feel true, non-limited love in a romantic relationship, if you don't think that you're going to have that, it's because there's a lack of self-love going on. As soon as you elevate in that self-love and you come to the awareness that you are all the love that you need, and that expression of self-love is there, boom, now you're in love. And now that you're in love, because you are love, now that you're in love, you will attract to you other people who can mirror and reflect that love back to you in meaningful ways that feels good to reciprocate. Mike says, fail at the first attempt in learning. Fear, false evidence appearing real. Interesting. Fail is first attempt in learning. Fear is false evidence appearing real. Both acronyms. Those are great. Thank you for sharing those. It's very insightful. Toby Lynn, go ahead.
So I don't know how people write and keep up with all this. I type. I can't type very fast. So that's why I have to speak. I'm sorry. So one of the things that I wrote was, why is it important to be me? And it's interesting because it goes back, and I didn't realize this dunce cap on my head. I didn't even cut the energy off of it yet. I acknowledged it. However, I see that the energy, and if you look at the power of words, that energy I've accepted, I've taken it on. Like my 3-year-old self took it personally. And I then took all of what dunce meant, and I started to incorporate all that into me, thinking that the teacher was right because she was much older than I was. She was a teacher.
Yeah.
And I come to see that myself as whole, I want to see myself as whole and complete, perfectly imperfect. So I can be an example to others. I didn't have emotion when I wrote this. So I can be an example to others of how to love their gift of self, to remember who they are as children of God, the children of light. Because I love my brothers and sisters here on earth, I desire to allow myself to flow with love, forgiveness, and understanding. I desire to share my wisdom. So thank you. That was really awesome, leading through all that.
That is awesome. Thank you for sharing that. And so, Toby Lynn, by you stepping into that, you stepping into your divinity and owning it and loving it and being in love with yourself, you become the invitation. You get to shine now in the world. You become the invitation for other people to do that for themselves. It's not vanity to do that.
It's interesting. It took a trigger to ask me to support my friend in doing a class. It triggered me into, like, even before this dunce thing came last night, 3 days ago, I felt fear shaking in my body, and I thought, what the heck is this? Like, yes. It wasn't the same level of fear I've had before. It was like really, really, really deep fear. And it was in the back of my legs, in the back of my back, the back of my head. And I thought, what the heck? And I had to wrestle with that for a little while with the energy of fear. And then, like I said, last night, I didn't even, and even today, like last night, I thought, oh, okay, great. And this is why we have to go deeper into our stuff, because I thought last night, oh, I found this thing, dunce cap on my head. Yeah. And it's interesting that today I didn't even realize, I thought that was the end, that I found it. And then today you did this class that even took me even deeper into it, that actually has me confronting what happened at grade 3.
Right. Like you're like, doing your inner work. You're taking accountability and responsibility for what you put there. That was your interpretation. It doesn't mean it was your fault. It wasn't your fault, but it was your interpretation. Now you're in a place where you can take accountability and responsibility for that, change the narrative, let go of the story. And now who do you get to be?
And I get to be someone who gets to share her wisdom.
Yeah.
That doesn't have the programming that's being triggered constantly.
Yeah.
Which
There's
is
no
that
fear.
I'm excited to go and take what you've done today and go and look at it again so I can go deeper into it, because I can tell that my psyche, my heart, my emotion, like I really took this personally. I mean, I can't imagine how a grade 3er wouldn't, because they're just so innocent and their minds are so looking to other people to teach them.
Yeah.
And however, here as an adult, like I've forgiven the teacher a long time ago. However, what I didn't understand is that I needed to forgive me for accepting it.
Yeah.
And to playing that narrative out in my life.
Yeah. And basically just teaching the little you, that 8-year-old you, the truth, teaching you the truth, and going back to that little 8-year-old you and saying, hey, guess what? This isn't true. You don't have to be judged like this. This narrative, this false belief, that's not truth. And that person was wrong for doing what they did to you, but you don't have to buy into that. You can let go of that story. So Lisa says, Toby-Len, I hope you can feel my love and a hug for you, sending it to you. Yes. But the thing is, Lisa, even though you're sending that beautiful, warm, loving hug, she won't be able to receive it until she does her inner work and comes back to a place where she can fall in love with herself. It's the same with a lot of you on here say to me, oh, I just want to fall in love. I want to find my soulmate. I want to find my companion. I want to find my person. So many of you guys are concerned about that because there's so little of that in the world, where we've been so conditioned to step into codependent type of relationships that are all about manipulation and control and not enoughness. But you're not going to attract to you any kind of a soulmate friendship, even romantic relationship, or even that kind of relationship with your children or friends or whatever. You won't have that until you fall in love with you first. It has to come from a place of self-love. And once you're in that beautiful place of self-love, there is no better feeling than self-love. There's no better feeling than to be on fire with love of yourself. And then as you project that out into the world, you're going to attract other people who can hold that kind of space for you and mirror it and reflect it back to you and share that kind of space with you without needing or clinging or getting too attached, right? There's no needy attachment to the degree that they have to control you or you have to control them. It just is what it is, and we can freely share self-love with each other. That is the kinds of relationships that we want. So now that we have body awareness, I want you to go back into your body, drop down to the base of the spine. I want you to think about, where are these beliefs being stored in my body? Where do I feel? So in Toby-Len's case, she was saying she felt it in those places, in her back, in her legs. Where do you feel the heavy vibration of these energies inside your body? Just get in touch with it. Where's the tension? Where's the tightness? Where's it coming up for you? Once you've got that, we're going to do some 2-pointing. Actually, no, we're going to do some breathing. I'm going to have you do, let's do 15 fire breaths. They go in through your nose and mouth, out through your mouth. So you're going to do 15 of those back to back. It's going to go out about this fast. In, out, in, out, in, out, or faster. Ready? 15, go. Once you're done, breathe deeply in through your nose, out through the mouth. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Drop your attention down to the base of the spine. Drop your shoulders on the exhale. Just let go and release your shoulders on the exhale. Ooh, let going of tension in there. Let go of tension in your neck and your face. Breathe in, breathe out, let go. And I want you to think about, as you're breathing, think about what is possible that I could totally unwrite this script and let it go energetically. All of the energy of these negative beliefs and negative emotions. What is possible that this could be something else, something different? Breathe in, breathe out. Do not hold your breath. Keep your breath going. Breathing into the base of the spine. That's the processing place. That's where you connect to your higher self, the base of the spine. So breathe into that. Drop your shoulders on the exhale. Relax your face and your tongue and your throat and your jaw. And I want you to say out loud, I am all the love that I think I need. I am the wholeness and completeness and the enoughness. I am all of the love that I think I need. I am. I am. Drop down to the base of the spine. Breathe and soften into that new belief. I am. You don't need a relationship or money or property or things gifted to you in order to feel complete and safe and whole. You don't need that. You need to be that. Just be that. I am that. It is what it is, and I'm okay. So I want you to go back into the base of the spine, and as you breathe and soften, drop your shoulders on the exhale. Say, I am. I am. I am. I am all of the love that I think I need. I am enough. I am light. I am truth. I am whole. I am safe. I am abundant. I am infinite. What do I have to worry about? I'm infinite. I am infinite. I am safe. I am light. I am love. I am truth. And I forgive all those people who projected the opposite of that onto me. And I'm choosing to own what's going on inside of me and resolve it. Now, write down on your piece of paper, who do I get to be now? Who do I get to be now? Who are you? And don't answer that by the things that you do. You're not a teacher, a parent, a mother, a father, a brother, a sister. I want you to think about energetically, spiritually, as a spirit being who is ascending up and out of lower level emotions and false limiting beliefs. Who are you now without it? Without that big bag of gunk that you've been carrying around, who do you get to be now? And who are you now? Just be. I don't want you to answer that question, but I do want you to go inside of your center and sit in the stillness of your beingness. And that's where I'm going to end the class. And I want you to sit with that beingness for as long as you need. Journal out what comes up for you, all the love that you think you need, you are. Journal it out, rewrite the past with this new belief system and this new energy. And then reach out to me on social. Everybody, reach out to me and let me know how this went for you, what the experience was for you guys, and whether or not it was helpful. do give me feedback. And as always, remember to invite your friends and your family. The replays will be up on my YouTube channel, Greater Life, Greater Impact. If you got benefit and value from this video and this class, please share it with people that you think could possibly benefit from knowing themselves as well. You deserve to know how stinking awesome you are.
Thank you, Janet. And I was trying to write poverty, not property, and I couldn't get
Poverty. Yes, poverty is a sense of lack, but that's not who you are anymore because you let that go today. Karen, good job. Now you are abundance. That's who you are. That's the truth of who you are. The lie has been let go of. And now you can just stand in your divine identity and just say, get behind me, Satan. If that ever comes up again, get behind me and don't ever talk to me that way again, because that is not the truth. You deserve to know who you really are. And it's just a matter of changing your perspective and changing your mindset and letting go of those old beliefs and those old stories of who you thought you were, but you really aren't. Everybody have a blessed rest of your day. Love you all so much. You're amazing. This was helpful. Thank you. Good. Love you all. Thank you. Beautiful souls, says Katie. Yeah. Thanks for being here, you guys. Take care. Share this around if it helped you and let other people benefit from it as well. All right. We'll see you guys in another week. As always, have a great one. See you later. Bye.